Welcome back to another episode of the Great Eights Attorney. I'm Jake Light, gaming lawyer at your service. Alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna find out how this dude over here is gonna lie his way out, right? We'll see. We're gonna see... we can poke. Poke. Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary. You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir. So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse while on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that was your overcoat. Obviously, in my haste I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet there's a note on that. It reads, "For McGilded." I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box music. Alright, I confused myself a bit. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area. So, the disc in question. It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she? No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury. Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it? Yes, it's quite. Let's leave it alone for the time being. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused of filthy guttling on the day in question. Press this. So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right. Despite being mindful of danger when walking in insalubrious areas her kind frequent, Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl is a regular offender. Came to the pawnbrokery that day, prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Mindybank's. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc. My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense? I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear? Yes, my lord. And then I will continue my testimony for what possible use it can be. I'm the murderer. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. No. Had you ever been to Winnipegs before? Only once for the purposes of pawning something, but like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you noticed that a pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her, is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice it first. Of course, such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. He can't say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this. In the end, of course, this was taken by the police. Yes, it was taken by the Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. Gilded as evidence. Is something wrong, Inspector? You have some dirt? What do you mean? The last remark Mr. Grayson made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilder's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yes, exactly. You should know all about that. Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after this trial 2 months ago, a man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life, yet he had a dark side, too. Where are you going with this, Von Zix? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they? That's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out that we are not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. They don't like each other. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zix here. Well, it would appear that the inspector has revealed all this is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony. Gladly, my lord. It's a tough nut to crack. But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items? No, not at all. Oh. A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelf was common or garden bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's discs. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. There was no more in the shop that night, and as I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in. So there was nothing of Mr. McGilded's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let me have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his grandma. McGilder slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windybank. Then when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and Fawcett to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilder as well. Excuse me. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. But Gregson is being very strange about all this. There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Okay. The sheriff was stolen from me by the accused. That filthy going on the date question. I guess I can present this. Right, this is the one. Let's do it. Let's try. No, it's not. No, it's not this. Bloody hell. God damn it. No, no. The redemption ticket. The redemption ticket. Bloody hell. There's no reason to break into the shop later that same night. What reason? What would be the reason? Eh? Break into the night before the murder took place. Everything is quite, how do you say, irrelevant. Shows the relative positions of being shop and blah blah, crime scene, top seed, today's paper. Definitely not today's paper. Definitely not this one. Iris manuscript. Too far stretch. I still have no idea if it's related or not. Why would come in and take this though? No, it wasn't taking this. Box code. What's this box? I know the code. What's this box again? Identification from probably opened by the victim. In the form of some handwritten notes on the back of the photograph. This is by the evidence, by specified by the player. One small box, 10 shillings. Not related. Not related, I think. I'm stumped. Yes, the disc was taken by the police. There's nothing untrue about this. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. Alright, the redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused. That filthy gambling on the day itself. Let's try and press this again without pursuing our detective friend.
Is that right?
And thanks to the skirmish with that Swastro, I snagged the end of my thumb at the same time. And the disc in question is this disc here. I can still pursue? Well, yes, it is. Scotland Yard have indeed been gathering up items believed to have been the property of McGilded, presumably to aid their investigations in some way. Not something I would be aware of. I really didn't know the man well anyway. After all, I'm merely a communications officer with a penchant for music boxes and flamboyant poses. Was it always possible to pursue that? Alright, I stop. You know, to waste everyone's time, I'm gonna look up again what I should be doing. Alright. Is Johnny. Memoirs of a crowded world. Wait, not this one. Graydon. Wait. Right. Bloody hell. Let's see. Let's. Oh my god. Let me pause. Let me pause. Sorry. Alright, I found the answer, but I have no idea why. Alright. Apparently I presented the wrong one. Statement. Wait, oops, bloody hell. Present the wrong ticket? Okay, let's see. It was the other ticket. Can't really say why though. Damn it. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, it's this ticket. I have no idea why it would be this ticket.
Objection.
I'm not as smart as I think. I'm not a good lawyer. God damn it. This disc was deposited at Windy Banks on Magnus McGilder's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection.
Conjecture. Again, and in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night. Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilder had another article in pawn at Windy Banks. Is it? Oh my god, I totally forgot about this. They deposit a box? Alright. Apparently it is. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. Ah! There were two articles belonging to Mr. McGilder in Windybank's pawnbrokery, and the reason he broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your two accomplices, the Skulkin brothers. Ugh! This is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited? The article description reads, one small box. A rather vague description, it seems to me. Are you suggesting I broke into the pawnbrokery with this clown? Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been fitted, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. It's a good point. Indeed, the witness makes a solid argument. So that means that for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed a small box that very night, does it?
Objection.
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord. Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Von Zix? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windybank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What? Good gracious. Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please. Yes, sir. What prints? These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras. Ah, Early's red-handed recorders again. Yes, new evidence always. As previously explained using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windybank had received his customers. The other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for once forfeited. According to the information on this ticket, McGilda's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident at 9 p.m. on 13th April to be precise, which means it would have been on the shelves or forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident, at 11 p.m. on 15 April. The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear. And there we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare. Uh-oh, we're gonna do that again, aren't we? Let me do it quickly now. The cross-eye thing. Ah! Something's different. This here is different. Ha 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 ha. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, as Scotland Yard, we consider theft as one possible motive in this case. We explore the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So your men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. We counted every single item which shows these 2 photographic prints. And the yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. You dumb detective, you dumb police. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question, and my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Ah! I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stolen McGilda's pawn box, I might have been able to break him down at last. You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these 2 photographs really are exactly the same. What? So, counsel, in the line of evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion? I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these 2 photographic prints? Point out the discrepancy! Use a piece of evidence. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may. Try something? What do you mean, counsel? I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy. I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify a discrepancy between the two prints? This!
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view these two prints stereoscopically. Ooh! Yes, you caught the bug at last. You can't resist it, can you? Can you? You've got the cross-eyed compulsion. Juror number 3, what a surprise. Come on, Reno. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now, look through the eyepiece. It doesn't do that, but okay. I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What? You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak. Stop.
Take that!
Granted, those two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. What? When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, ta-da! It doesn't highlight like that though. The music box. A single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. Let me wait. Unbelievable. He's looking at it. Oh, I like this. The court is just doing the same thing. By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary. What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilda's small box was indeed not stolen from Winniebanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned to its place on the shelves. Are you suggesting that a small box originally deposited by Mr. McGildas is in fact? Yes, the very small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means quite simply that nothing has changed. That may be true, but right. The box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Winniebanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant in this trial. The court do not uphold your objection, Lord Von Ziggs. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. You're finished. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked with such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Von Zix? This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese specialty, it would seem. I'm racist. What are you trying to say, racist? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning, that this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be absurd, beyond absurd, to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was an upstanding member of the society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. Huh. The articles these upstanding members of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I would accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me. Trying to worm your way now? You know, that doesn't sound rather sad. It's not, it's like, go with yours, it's a toss of good thoughts, Mr. McGill was rich enough. But you can't deposit cash at property, I'm quite certain for it. The prosecution argument is undeniably compelling. It is incumbent on the defense now to boast its argument, to explain what a possible, significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disorder box are in any tangible way related to this case? Well, what's the matter, Bruno? We know that they are related, don't we? We are both fine a piece of evidence. And I think we have to stop over here, alright? I don't know how long this is gonna drag on, but we are out of time again. I'm sorry. So I have to do this next time. Again, thank you so much for watching this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Alright? And as always, take care. Stay hopeful, but be critical, right? Just like this. Just like in Ace Attorney. No matter how bullshit it is, with a bullshit card, we have to bullshit our way. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.